welcome to SS Multimedia. This is Harshita Sheshala, and in this lesson, we'll be learning to estimate products when we have fractions. So let's get started. Our objective for today's lesson is learning to estimate products of fractions using rounding, compatible numbers, and compatible benchmark fractions. So we all know what rounding is. So if we have 12, then when we round it, it will turn into 10. Or if we have 6, when we round it, it will be 5. And then compatible numbers are any numbers that are easy to add, subtract, multiply, or divide. So you can do those operations in your head too. And then benchmark fractions are like compatible fractions. So some benchmark fractions can be like half or 1 or 1/4, 1/3. So they're like compatible numbers, but they're just fractions. So let's start off by doing some examples. Our first example is 7/10 times 18. So I'm going to keep the 7/10. The reason I'm keeping it is because I see that 10 is a compatible number, and let's not change it. So instead of rounding it and making it more complicated, let's just keep it. So 7/10 will stay the same, and then let's round 18 to the nearest tenth, and then that will be 20. Alright, now let's multiply. 7 times 2 is 14, and then we can just add a 0 in the end. 10 times 1 is 10. 140 divided by 10 is 14. That means our answer should be somewhere close to 14. Alright, now what we're going to do is find the real answer, so the actual answer. So we have to do 7/10 times 18. Alright, so 18 times 7 is, so let's do it. 7 times 8 is 56, 7 times 1 is 7, plus 5 is 12. So we have 126, and then 10 times 1 is 10. So 126 over 10 is an improper fraction, so let's turn it into a mixed number. 126 divided by 10. So 10 goes into 12 ones. And then let's subtract 2 minus 0 is 2, 1 minus 1 is 0. And then we drop down to 6. And then 10 goes into 26 2 times. And then we subtract 6 minus 0 is 6, and 2 minus 2 is 0. So our mixed number will be 12 and 6/10. Since 6/10 can be simplified, let's simplify it. If we can simplify it, let's simplify it, okay? So 6/10 is also equals to 3/5, and this is our actual answer. So I'm just going to write answer. So now let's check if our answer is close to our estimate. 12 and 3/5 is close to our estimate, so it's close to 14. It's just 1 and 2/5 away. So our answer makes sense. Okay, now let's move on to the next question. The next one says 3 and 4/8 times 5 and 1/5. All right, so first let's round it and then estimate our answer, then we can find the actual answer. So 3 and 4/8. 4/8 also equals to half, so so our estimate will be not estimate, we're just simplifying it, and since half is a benchmark fraction, I'm just going to keep it that way. So we have to do 3.5 times, so 5 1/5, we can round that to 5. And now we need to multiply. So before we start multiplying, we need to turn 3.5 into a improper fraction. So that would be 7/2. 7/2 times 5 equals, so 5 times 7 is 35, and then 2 times 1 is 2. So that's 35/2. Our estimate is 35/2. But let's not keep it as an improper fraction. Let's turn it into a mixed number. 35 and then 2. So 2 goes into 3 ones, and then we subtract 3 minus 2 is 1, and we drop down to 5. So 2 goes into 15 7 times, and then we subtract, we have a remainder of 1. So 17.5 is our estimate. Now what we need to do is find our real answer. to do that, we have to multiply 3 4/8 times 5 1/5. So, since 4/8 also equals to half, we can just do 3½ times 5 1/5. So, we can just do 3½ times 5 1/5. Alright, so 3½ also equals to 7 over 2. And then 5 and 1/5 also equals to 26 over 5. And now let's multiply. So this will turn into 1. And let's divide 26 by 2. Okay, so we drop down to 6. And then 2 times 3 is 6 with no remainder. So this will turn into 13. Now we need to multiply 13 by 7. 13 times 7. So 7 times 3 is 21. 7 times 1 is 7. Plus 2 is 9. So 91. We have 91 divided by 5. Let's do that. 91 divided by 5. So 5 goes into 9 ones. And then we subtract. 9 minus 5 is 4. And we drop down the 1. So 5 goes into 41 8 times. And we'll have a remainder of 1. So our answer will be 18 and 1/5. Oops, not 1/8, well 1/5. So now let's see if our actual answer is close to our estimate. When I see 17½ is close to 18 and 1/5, so our answer is reasonable. So if we get an answer like 25 or like 1094, then that our answer will not be reasonable. So it can be like 2 or 3 away, but it cannot be like 1,000 numbers away or like hundreds. It's problem time. So we have 3 questions over here. Pause the video and try these 3 questions on your own. And then unpause and see if you got your answers right. By the way, you need to find the estimate and their actual answer. But yeah, I just showed estimate and actual for each of them. Now pause the video and try these 3 questions on your own. I will assume that you guys paused the video and did try these questions. So I'm going to start explaining. So 5 6 times 1/3 is our first question. Let's turn 5 6, or let's round 5 6 to 1. I'm going to write 1. And then since 1/3 is a benchmark fraction, we can leave it as 1/3. 1 times 1/3 is 1/3. So that is our estimate. Now let's find our actual answer. So 5 6 times 1/3. 5 times 1 is 5, and 6 times 3 is 18. So our actual answer is 5 over 18. Okay, so when you look at our estimate 1/3 and our actual answer 5/18, it seems like they're really far away, but they're not. The reason is we don't have the same denominator, so that's what making it look like our actual answer is wrong or something like that. So let's turn 1/3. So 3 times 6 is 18. So let's do that. So let's turn 1/3 into an equivalent fraction by multiplying the numerator and the denominator by 6. So this is what I mean. We do the 3 times 6 and then 3 times 6. So now we'll have the same denominator, which is 18, and then 6 times 1 is 6. Alright? So 6/18 is really close to 5/18. So our answer makes sense. Now let's do the second one. I'm just going to draw a line over here. And 6 times 3/10. Okay, that's our question. So we can round 6 to 5, and then 3/10 can stay the same because remember what we learned, that if we have a 10, that's a compatible number, so we can just leave it the way it is. So 3/10, and let's do it. So 5 times 3 is 15. 10 times 1 is 10. So our estimate is 15 over 10. But let's not leave it as an improper fraction. So 15 over 10 can be simplified to 3 over 2. And now let's turn 3 over 2 into an improper fraction. So 3 goes into 2 goes into 3 ones, and then we have a remainder of 1. So 3 over 2 also equals to 1.5. So that's our estimate, 1.5. And since we don't have any space, I'm going to erase this. Alright, now let's find the actual answer. 6 times 3/10. Okay, 6 times 3/10. 6 times 3 is 18, and then 10 times 1 is 10. 18 over 10. So 18 over 10 can be simplified to 9 over 5. Now let's turn it into a mixed number. So 5 goes into 9 ones, and then we have 4 left, and our answer is 1.4. So let's do one thing. So let's have the same denominator to see if our estimate and our actual answer is close. Okay, so a common denominator I can think of is 10. So 5 times 1 is 5 plus 4 is 9. So I'm reading the actual answer. So now we can just multiply both the numerator and the denominator with 10. 9 times 2 is 18, 5 times 2 is 10. We have 18 over 10. And then 1.5, when we turn it into an improper fraction, we will have 3 over 2. And then 3 over 2 times 5. So both numerator and denominator by 5. That would be 15 over 10. And 18 over 10 is really close to 15 over 10, so we can say that our actual answer makes sense. Now, let's do the third question. Oops, sorry about that. Alright, so we have 5/7 times 6/3. So let's use benchmark fractions for this. So 5 and 7/10, we can turn that into 5 and 1/5. 5.5. The reason I changed the 10 part is because sometimes it's better to turn it into a benchmark fraction. So over here in the first problem, we just had all we had to do is round 18, and then we could find the answer. But it is a different problem over here, so I'm just going to turn it into a benchmark fraction. So 5.5 times. So 6/3 can also be turned into 6.5, because that's really close to 6.5. And now we just have to multiply. So 5.5 also equals to 11 over 2, and 6.5 also equals to 13 over 2. Now let's multiply 11 times 13. So 13 times 11. Alright, 11 times 3 is 33. 11 times 1 is 11, plus 3 is 14. So we have 143. 2 times 2 is 4. 143 over 4 is our improper fraction, our estimate. But let's turn it into a mixed fraction, a mixed number. 143 and then 4. So 4 goes into 14 3 times. 4 minus 2 is 2, and we drop down to 3. And 4 goes into 23 5 times, and we'll have a remainder of 3. So our estimate is 35 3/4. Alright? Our estimate is 35 3/4. Now let's find the actual answer. Alright? So I'm just going to erase this. Our actual answer will be, okay, let's see. So 10 times 5 is 50. 50 plus 7 is 57. And then we'll have 57 over 10 times. 5 times 6 is 30. 30 plus 3 is 33. 33 over 5. Alright, we would have to multiply 57 times 33 and then 10 times 5. Those are really big numbers. But anyway, we can do it. 57 times 33. 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 5 is 15. 15 plus 2 is 17. Now we just added 0 and then copy the numbers down because 3 and 3 are equal. They're the same numbers. Now let's add. 1 plus 0 is 1, 7 plus 1 is 8, 1 plus 7 is 8, 1 plus nothing is 1. So we have 1881, and 10 times 5 is 50. Now we need to find, we need to find the mixed number. We need to turn this improper fraction into a mixed number. 1881 divided by 50. We're basically dividing it by 5, but yeah. So 150 divided by 1881 divided by 50. So 50 goes into 188 twice. Actually thrice. I'm sorry about that. Thrice, and that would be 150. And then 8 minus 0 is 8, and 8 minus 5 is 3. And we drop down the 1. So I know that 5 times 7 is 35, and 38 is really close to 35. So I can say that 50 times 7 is 350. 1 minus 0 is 1, 8 minus 5 is 3. So we can't divide anymore other than going into decimal, so let's not do that. We have a remainder of 31. Our actual answer is 37 and 31 over 50. And 37 is really close to 35, so we can say that our actual answer is close to our is reasonable. Thank you for watching, guys. That was all for today's video. Please comment down below how many questions you got right from the problem time. And thank you for watching. Like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to get notified on our new videos, make sure you tap the notifications bell.